Merrick Garland was held in contempt today. It's official. House held Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress. Now, let's talk about what this is, and let's talk about what it's not. First, is this a big deal? Well, it depends. I know that's a terrible way to answer that, but just stay with me. Is it a big deal? Well, there's something that you and I are going to have to get used to. We are going to have to get used to living in a different country than the one we have known and the one our parents have known and our grandparents have known. Essentially, the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years in America, it's not going to look anything like the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years in America did. Things are changing. They're changing rapidly. And yes, you can argue, oh, yeah, they're all bad changes. Okay, I'll give you that. Most of them are bad changes, but things are changing rapidly. We now live in a country where the Republican nominee for president has been wrongly convicted of felonies and might spend election day in state prison in New York. That's insane. That's the country we live in now. We live in a country where the son of the President of the United States of America is a convicted felon, and we have documentation from that son's laptop that shows Joe Biden is pretty much the head of a political criminal enterprise designed to enrich himself using his office. That's not normal. Okay, so normal, let's focus on that word. Normal isn't what it used to be. We don't have to go back to ancient history. If we rewound to the year 2000 and we said the Attorney General of the United States of America has been held in contempt of Congress, that would be a big deal. And it's not that what happened today is a small deal, but honestly, are you surprised? This is our politics now. It's all so evil and so corrupt. We have so many bad people fighting oftentimes other bad people. And it's just crazy that we wake up now and the norms have all changed and they will continue to change in ways that I can't see and you can't see. Things are going to get weird, for lack of a better way to put it. Okay, so the Attorney General has been held in contempt of Congress. What happens next? Jim Jordan joined us a while ago, talked about what happens next.
You'd have to have a vote on the floor. And then it goes, and of course, you may wind up in court. You never know how these things play out. I don't think Merrick Garland's suddenly going to, charge himself. I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, so is Merrick Garland going to go to prison? No, don't be ridiculous. Is he going to be removed from office? No, of course not. So don't be hoping for that kind of a pound of flesh, because it's never going to happen. Now, that's it. Let's give credit where it's due. There is good that comes from this. And the House Republicans voting this way, it is good. They did good. Now, what is the good that comes from this? If he's not going to be removed, he's not going to be arrested, then what's the good? Well, Merrick Garland gets to experience pain. And it's important for communists to experience pain because that's all they understand. They're religious zealots. They only understand fear and pain. Being held in contempt of Congress, it is a big enough deal. And it is going to bring about pain and discomfort to Merrick Garland. And because he's an evil piece of communist trash, he deserves that pain. And the next Democrat AG, and the one after him, and the one after him, may just have to consider the pain Merrick is going to go through now before they do their despicable acts. Will it dissuade them? Will they stop? No, probably not. It's going to take arrests for that. Real, tangible pain. But it's something, right? And now let's move past the Merrick Garland thing because I do have to bring something up. It's going to sound random, but it's really not. Speaking about normal, this is along the lines of what's changed and the norms have changed. I want you to picture this moment. I want you to picture John F. Kennedy. All right, we're back in the 1960s. And John F. Kennedy gets up and gives a speech as president. And he threatens the Republicans, anyone who's upset with him, with sending in the 1st Marine Division. He says something along the lines of, oh, you're unhappy with me? I'll send the Marines after you. It's bonkers, right? It's not something you would ever see from a Democrat or a Republican. Historically, that's not done. The president doesn't look at the American military and think, gosh, I could kill a lot of Republicans with that, or a lot of Democrats with that. However, this line that Joe Biden pulled out yesterday, it is not a one-off. This is a line that Joe Biden has used some version of repeatedly. Eric Swalwell has used it. Media members have used it time and time and time again now. It has become part of the Democrat language that they threaten us with military force.
And by the way, if they want to think to take on government, if we get out of line, which they're talking again about, well, guess what? They need F-15s. They don't need a rifle.
So why is that something that they come up with so often? Why would that come out of their mouths? Eric Swalwell threatened to drop nuclear weapons on American people. You can't take on the government. We've got nukes. Joe Biden, all of them every day. Yeah, good luck. We've got F-35s. Why does that come out of their mouths? Because they think about it. Remember, the great story on the planet right now is Western governments turning their guns inward against their own citizens. The people who run Western society, most definitely America, they don't lay awake at night stressing and straining about ISIS or Russia or China or the border or inflation or any of these things. What really drives these people crazy, what bothers them, is what holds them back from taking total power. And that is you, the American citizen who wants to drive what he wants to drive, he wants to own all the guns he wants to say what he wants to say. When these people sit around at their cocktail parties behind closed doors and they talk about who the real problem is, they always come up with you. And communists believe in using power. They always have. You get power, you use power to gain more power. So a communist like Joe Biden and all the Democrats around him, they take power and they look at the United States military, all those bombs, bullets, planes, and they think to themselves, I bet I could hurt Republicans with that. This saying, this phrasing, we'll send F-35s, it constantly comes out of their mouths because they've thought about it. These people don't sit around thinking about Russia. And gosh, they probably should, because Vladimir Putin has nuclear-powered warships parked miles, less than 100 miles off the American shore as we speak in Cuba. Putin sent a big boy Navy down there. Of course, they're calling it for exercises. They're doing exercises. Well, we do, quote, exercises too. You know why countries do exercises like that? It's always a threat. It's always a flex. Hey, just doing some exercises over here. Just letting you know we're here. And I told you this is coming last week. We are authorizing U.S. weapons to be used inside of Russia's borders. Do you understand what an escalation that is? Do you understand that that is forcing Vladimir Putin to respond in kind? Hate Vladimir Putin all you want. I certainly do. He is able to remain leader of Russia because he sells himself as the strong man protector of Russia. That's how he sells himself. He cannot allow American weapons to kill Russians inside of his border without a response. He can't. And now we have submarines that have cruise missiles on them, Russian cruise missiles, parked off of our shore. Do I think Vladimir Putin's about to launch a nuclear attack on America? No, I do not. Do I know that? No, I don't know that. I don't know that. Do I need to remind you that during the Cuban Missile Crisis, a Russian sub commander, captain of the boat, he ordered his nuclear weapons, a nuclear-tipped torpedo, he ordered it to be deployed. That happened. Did you know that? By the grace of God, his crew, his second in command and his crew overruled and overwhelmed him, and it didn't happen. We have been that close to nuclear war because of situations just like this. These idiots, these morons we have in charge of the country, are going to get a lot of people killed, man.